Hello, everyone, and welcome to Old World. This is another match in the Old World 2025 tournament between Sabertooth and MongrelEyes. This is an elimination match, which means whoever loses this match will be exiting the tournament, and whoever wins will continue to fight on and rise through the elimination bracket. We have a tiny, wide continent map to start the tournament with, or this game with. Whoop, I'm going to get rid of my echo there. Give me one moment. I'll take a look at what we're working with in the game. If you are joining us live, appreciate you being here. And of course, if you're with us on YouTube after the fact, please give the channel a like and a subscribe. Let us know how we're doing, how much fun you're having. Cheer the players on and things like that. All right, so we have Carthage being picked for MongrelEyes. Carthage traders make sense. We have 3 dies in the capital. 1 fish, nice marble nearby, which is nice to see. Let's do a quick count of the city sites here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on both sides, it would seem like. So that's 22 with a 23rd site up in the central. We have the Red Sea and Ligurian Sea bisecting the map in the north, and the Black Sea bisecting the map in the south. This will be a very interesting city to set up down here. If you put a city here, you could actually boat in between both the Indian Ocean and the Black Sea. That'll be really, really neat to see. So we have a Carthage pick, we have a builder, we have intelligent. Classic, strong, decent, powerful picks. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'll be curious to see what Sabertooth decides to run with. We have our barbarian camps all nearby. 1 in the south, 2 in the north. Welcome, Snap. Thanks for joining us in chat. And, yeah. We have the Danes are on the map. We have the Scythians. We have the Numidians. And the Thracians. Okay. So 5 Numidian camps, all leaning towards Carthage. That's going to be a nice mounted benefit for our mercenary buying, if we want it. And in fact, he'll go right into Scythians next. Let's not forget that the Numidians were recently buffed with their nomad trait, and there's a sizable amount of arid on the map. Nice arid open battlefield down here, headed into your opponent. So Carthage is securing some Numidians is going to be pretty nice, I think. Thracians along the north half, Danes along the northeast. No, sorry, northwest rather. All right. Sabertooth taking his time with his choice. We have stone cutting queued up. Wow, nice. We were able to secure a Warden. That's one of the good clearing promotions at the start of the game. You're hoping to grab Besieger. You're hoping to grab Steadfast or Warden. Beyond those, Strike will work. Fierce will work. And what is the ranged one? The one that gives 10% to ranged. I don't remember the name of that one off the top of my head. I'm sure it'll come to me momentarily. Let's take a look at the surrounding areas. Not a lot of good stuff down here on this site. Maybe 1 camp. Not a lot of good stuff in this free site either. Both these nearby sites kind of suck, which is cool. We do have a marble in the capital, and I'm really, really hoping one of our players will give us a satisfying flatland quarry down here. We have plenty of arid tiles. This is going to be your first quarry spot. Let's not wait 40 turns to get to a mountainside here We do have another marble up top too, so these marbles will help out. A couple marble quarries, and then just flatland here, quarry around the marbles. Fun fact, if you do a complete ring around a marble quarry, that will get you an extra 1 civic. No, what is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? Or no, it's 3. So 3, 9, gets you an extra 1.8 civics if you encircle this with all quarries. So that's a fun little thing to do if you want to give yourself a bunch of civics boost early on. We have some choke points in the center of the map. This is a 1-tile pass. It goes on to a 1-tile isthmus across the Black Sea and Indian Ocean. So a city here will be quite nice. Lots of pressure in the Black Sea. And if you get on these tiles, as I've said already, you'll actually be able to send a boat through your city, which will be cool. A marshland forested hillside choke point in between 2 mountains in the dead center of the map. This will make an interesting battlefield. I think Carthage is going to be a problem here. If Carthage starts expanding directly towards Sabertooth and secures these central sites, it could be quite difficult to push them back over this terrain. And then, of course, in the north, we have a single Thracian site. Similar difficult pathing, though. There's only a 1-tile map. Wow, this is awesome. There's only a 1-tile marsh path land up to this city site, and then a 2-tile coastal. Oh, and then there's 1 tile there. Yeah, so just a few entry points. So securing this site will be strong. It should make for some interesting that yeah. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how things turn out between the two players. Do we have a pick yet? No. We have a movement. We've opted to move forward. And here we go. We have the Axumites. Nice. All right, so the game theory here, we have an intelligent builder as well. 2 intelligent builders. And so the game theory that we've been working out here is, in theory, Axum should be able to counter the Carthaginians. And the reason for this is that they have Champions family for fast output. They start with Labor Force, which puts Phalanx right out in the open pretty quickly. So they have a swift path to spears. They also have traders as well. So they're the only Champions nation that has traders. So if you're worried about a strong traders opening in a start like this, and you would be with all of these pearls, but you also want to counter that tribal output with champions, and Axum feels like the clear choice there. Of course, Rome is always good with their movement and extra training. All right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by reading Discord. I will send my full attention back to the game now. I'm gonna close Discord out. All right, so we made it to our first camp here on the first turn. Interesting. This is also, you could take Fierce, but this is also another path to making sure you clear the camp before it spawns a unit, especially if you don't have a good promotion. If you can reach the camp on the first turn, you can clear it without needing a promotion at all, because you'll do enough damage. You won't need to do the 7 damage. So that's interesting to see there. But I suspect Carthage will clear, because we did get Warden. So both players will clear their camp before their first camp before it spawns a unit. The timer is getting kicked off here. They have 10 turns of simultaneous turns. We have stone cutting for the Carthaginians, and we have stone cutting for the Axumites. Nice to see. Both mindful of the marble nearby. I'd like to see a harvest on this, get the culture up. Nice, nice, nice. Always nice if you have groves nearby to boost that culture. quickly if you can. So both players have gone directly to the north site, spotting that open camp. Both players naturally have gone for the fish. Pretty classic, standard stuff happening. Interestingly enough, we have the scout. I actually kind of like this here from Sabertooth. We have the slinger going north to clear the camp, and we have a scout headed south to see what's down along this coast. Conversely, the Carthaginian scout went north with his slinger friend. Ooh. Interestingly, it seems like Sabertooth may not have governed on the very first turn, because this net is already finished for the Carthaginians, and this net is 2 turns away. So that tells me that either we didn't govern on the first turn, or maybe we didn't start. I mean, we got pretty far with this warrior, with this slinger, so I suspect maybe we didn't start the unit, the improvement. No, actually, it would be a 3-turn improvement. So yeah, we didn't have a governor when we started that. Okay. Yes, Axum is one of my favorite nations. Love to see it getting a little bit of love in the tournament. It's nice to see it getting picked. It's been in some tough matchups so far. I'm not 100% sure how many games it's won, but I know it's been in at least 2 games that were tough fights. But they're a fun faction. Let's take a look here, too, if we did anything creative with the ruler here. No. All right. Still just standard builder. 2 intelligent builders. Very meta of our players. Players are a little fond of intelligent at the moment. Builders are a good opening pick. No schemers this game, which is nice. Let's take a look over at Carthage, see what we got going on. Making our way up. Plenty of horses nearby, so Carthage will be able to bring in riders and secure that swift event that is popular these days. For those of you watching who don't know, as long as you have the riders family in the game, harvesting horses gives you a pretty decent shot of getting swift on your ruler if you want it. It does a couple of other things too, which are also decent options. It can give you 50 XP in your rider seat if you want it for horses. Also, if you have an upset oligarch, it can make your oligarch happy. And I'm pretty sure they also get pleased as well. Also get swift as well. But it's one of the 3 choices. So early on, when you're not filled up with strength, grabbing swift can be pretty solid. Opening for Statesman second, though. All right, makes sense. We have marble here, marble there. Sometimes people like to put marble in Statesman seats for the excess civics and the potential to run decrees. And of course, he's going to get an order off of this. This actually wouldn't be a bad spot for a rider's family, and the reason for this is because currently it's not yet connected to your empire, although if we did some scouting it would be. And then also there's no horses nearby, so ironically it's always nice to put riders in a spot that doesn't have horses at first. That way you can ensure you get the horses in multiple locations. So, for example, you put a rider seat here, and you'd also put a rider's family here. And that would give you 2 different locations that can run horses. Or, I guess, in the case of Carthage, we're also thinking about elephants. So let's take a peek at the elephants on the map. There's one here. There's a camel over here if we want camel supremacy. Another camel up here. 3 horses in the region. And let's see what else we're looking at. I think that's it. So 2 elephants on the whole map, which does mean that Carthage will be able to get 2 cities that can produce their unique elephant if they want it. Going champs front and center. Nice. I like this. I like this decision a lot. You have 10 turns to settle this site, and he wants his champ site more forward. I can respect that. And get some early military production. We are not building a military unit first, though. That's what I would like to see here. Even though we do have this cheap builder worker, I'm going to say that it seems like Sabertooth didn't take an immediate lesson from his last loss. He went a very long time without building military units. I would have expected to him, and it really came back to bite him, so I would have expected to see his very first build queue in his champ seat be to bring out a military unit. We have a question from Solver asking if the camel has been used. Yes, Sabertooth. In Sabertooth's previous match, camels showed up a little bit at the end and did some solid work. It looks like that if the camels are around, that could be an effective counter to the Egyptian unique unit. I don't understand this question about Swift, unless that was just being silly. All right, so now for tech choices on Axum, we have military drill, rhetoric, navigation, phalanx. So all really, really great options. The safe grab here is phalanx. Have we met tribes yet? We haven't met any tribes, but I think as soon as we see... First of all, phalanx will help us clear, because there's horse tribes around. We don't know this yet at Axum, but... Also, as soon as you discover that there are horse tribes, you're going to think, okay, well, that means Carthage has 6-strength horse units. Because the real unique unit of the Carthaginian Empire is the 6th-strength tribal unit. Because it's just the fastest unique unit. We're getting military drill on Carthage. Love this grab. We're ditching border boost. That's one of the... drawbacks of the Carthaginian kit. We do get to start with centralization, which is nice, but you pretty much never really get a decent border boost as Carthage because you're forced to discard it or grab it early, which is, you know, a nice little decent drawback for them, considering their kit is absolutely stacked with benefits. Nice to have a drawback here and there. But yeah, military drill, solid pick. I like grabbing that early when you can. He already has a law, so with these quarries getting set up, I would like to see things like... interesting, we're going straight for a shrine, but I dig it. I'd like to see garrison and barracks complex get set up pretty early for Carthage. That would be nice. And let's hop back over to Axum and see what they pick. And they also went military drill. Of course, that's great. If not... I mean, honestly, any one of these picks, except for maybe rhetoric, would be the way to go. An early navigation, you'd have navigation by turn 20 at least. So that would be extra orders. Phalanx is the defensive pick in case you get rushed in the next 30 turns by a very riled up Carthage. But military drill is certainly the nice long-term pick, I think, for sure. And for the same reasons, we will have decent enough civic income to enact one of our laws early on, and so that will give Axum the ability to start establishing. That change wouldn't be in the game yet. The question about Swift was about something. Basically, as soon as Carthage brings in the Riders family, that event will become eligible, and that doesn't necessarily mean he'll get it off the first harvest, but if he keeps harvesting horses, he's very likely to see it. And I mean, honestly, to be honest, one of the concerns was that event's going to get locked behind only being able to happen past turn 10, or from turn 10 onwards, and we're already at turn 9, so literally the only way it's a drawback for you is if you're settling Riders second or first. And yeah, anyway, decent enough change, makes sense. Where are we at now? All good here. What about here? Interesting, both players. Ooh, okay, get an event, I think. All right, let's see where we're at here. Okay, well, what am I looking at? Sorry, I'm having a mouse issue. Okay. So we have an extra, we're getting military drill 1 turn sooner, and that's the mild power. I mean, it's not mild, it will compound over time, of having that opening centralization. That's a really nice law to start with, especially since, you know, you bring in statesmen as well. And Carthage gets all the civics in the goddamn world because, I don't know, reasons, because Solver likes Carthage, I guess. And yeah, so they get an instant law, which is nice. We have our first Numidian being hired. Skirmisher, that's the one you want. We have another Numidian. Both are being hired. We have... Oh, that's the other thing that's going to be disgusting about this seat is... there's going to be so much income that Carthage is just going to have the most massive mercenary army. Yeah, that's going to suck to deal with. Let's take a look at the scouting layout in the first 10 turns. So Carthage looking north. And Axum headed east to check out his opponent. Axum is now aware that there are horses on the map. And in fact, we are past turn 10 now, so now we can start eyeballing juicy resources like iron. If you harvest this, there is a chance you can get like a science boost. What else is good around here? Goats will give you the chance to adopt an heir, I believe. What else do I know off the top of my head? I can't remember. Honestly, I literally can't remember if it's fish or crabs anymore. I can always say fish gives you science, but it might actually be crabs. I can't remember. But one of these will give you science as well. Olives. Olives is another science one. And anything else standing out? Don't harvest silver until I can get Mohawk to change it into something fun. Otherwise, your scout will die. Camels are good. You can get a food boost off of camels. I think you can also get a food boost off of game. I literally have no idea what stone does. I never harvest stone, ironically enough. Yeah, that's all the ones that are standing out to me. Oh, you can get a food boost off of wheat, too. Goats actually also have outbreak on them, so that should also get looked at, too. Anyway, yeah. Another settler being built in Axum. Slinger being built up. Nice. Nice to see a second unit. You're definitely going to need that. We already have a stronger Carthage from that Merc buying. Another camp cleared. So we have 4 camps ready to go. 4 city sites ready to go. 1 being settled next turn. 1 being settled in 6 turns. Let's take a peek over at Mongrel and see how he's doing. So we have 2 sites settled. Same. And it looks like we'll be 1 turn behind on settling this next city unless we force march it. Nope, not going to happen this turn. We're out of orders. And how is our clearing? I wonder if Mongrel is debating whether to take that border boost. I really wouldn't. Going straight for an archetype in the capital. Okay, looks like we're eyeballing Zoroastrianism. Not too bad, not too bad. That could end up in the statesman seat, which would be nice for more civics. All right. Getting a worker first. All right, so we brought in clerics. Okay, so the big thing we're going to be eyeballing here out of Axum is law tempo. They already start with slavery and freedom. They get divine rule from clerics. So 2 laws, which means a swift navigation grab is 3. Aristocracy is 4. Rhetoric, sovereignty, and monasticism would be 5, or since we want to go phalanx, we could do citizenship. That would be 7 as well. So there's some interesting paths here. I'll be curious how long Sabertooth opts to delay ironworking. I think this is a bit of a trap for the Axumites. I think you actually want to get ironworking relatively early on. There are some games where I've played as Axum where I just literally open with ironworking because I don't want to rely solely and entirely on slingers for my early army. having a couple of warriors around is very useful, especially if you end up in a heavily wooded area like this. It can be useful. Yeah, that's not really the best thing. So the other thing over here with the Axumites is, we're settling divine. I mean, it's basically a choice of whether you want to delay the family or not, right? So he could have settled another champions here. He could have settled another traders here. I mean, there's fish. That would make sense. But it's a question of, do you want to take that discontent penalty, or do you want to wait that out? Because currently divine rule isn't going to do anything for you. And interestingly enough, we didn't open with divination. So if you're a cleric nation and you're planning on bringing in clerics, I actually think that, especially with traders, because you have all the income in the world, right? So this is a great example of this. Or even if you didn't have traders, this is still plenty of income, right? If you're planning on bringing in clerics as one of your first 3 cities, it would make sense in my mind to open with divination. That way you can start building shrines right away and get yourself those orders. But I mean, your only other option is to just delay this until you're ready to get orders from it. And I mean, whatever. It's only negative 18 gold. He can afford it. He's making 265 per turn. He'll be fine. No, whatever. He'll be fine. Also, I didn't quite realize this, but this actually comes with a cleric opinion boost now. That's fun synergy there. Carthage hasn't moved his tribals at all. Did bring in riders. Oh, nice. I love getting this event. So, fun thing. I'll really be curious what we choose here. Unfortunately, we don't have a river. But still, maybe less inclined if we have a river here. Since we don't have a river. But very often I prefer to take the lumber mill. I think getting a lumber mill early on in the game pays a massive amount in terms of overall game value. And if you're on a river, even better. And he went for the science boost. Makes sense. Classic pick. I do understand it, but I tend to prefer the lumber mill. Oh, well. Everybody building worker first. Settler up here. I mean, I guess they're builders. All right, we have an Axumite army. Champions is up and running. Haven't really done much more scouting. 3 land marks found on Axum compared to 2 on Carthage. So for example, this is one of the reasons why I like to cross the map, right? Pretty early. If you get over here and you find the Mara River, you'll get 2 legitimacy for it. In addition to getting 2 legitimacy, you make your opponent only get 1 legitimacy once they find it, right? So it's +1 to you, -1 to them. That's basically a 2-point legitimacy swing between both players. I mean, of course, it's up to you how much you want to prioritize scouting. There are pros and cons to both. Scouting a lot early versus, moving workers and building stuff. Fascinating early granary. I don't hate it. Could be thinking growth for maybe building another settler, building a worker. I mean, it is the champ seat, so you don't really need to build it, but fascinating. I don't hate that. There's no wheat nearby, but sometimes if you want the growth, you want the growth. This can be useful, not in this situation, but this can be useful in a situation, let's say there wasn't fish in the capital. That could be a big benefit if you actually don't have an early accessible growth resource, but you are a nation that starts administration. I don't hate the idea of just plopping a granary down right away instead of improving a growth resource if you don't have access to one. And situations where you can end up without access to one is maybe you start next to sheep or goats, but you're Axum or Babylon, so you don't have pastures yet. Where are we in the tech tree? We just got stone boost. We're 31 science per turn on Carthage compared to 17 on Axum, so that's a nice, strong early advantage here. We've got a tactician wife. That helps out, I think. Take a look at courtiers. We have an intelligent governor. So Carthage taking advantage of its civics potential. Oh, we could do an intelligent guy here as well. That's the real benefit of the Carthage civics boost. You can immediately govern in every one of your cities, which you don't necessarily always want to do, but man, I would spend... Think of it this way. Think of this way. 3.6 science cost me 400 civics to adopt centralization. I can spend 100 civics for 3.9 science in this city right now. So I'll do that every day of the week. Which is one of the reasons why I think Carthage is busted. But, you know, whatever. Nobody cares. Getting stone boost for the Axumites in lieu of free worker, divination, and ironworking. Yeah, I mean, I guess we do want that stone boost. Hard to pass it up early on, but I'd like to see divination earlier than later. We could draw it right back, though. We only have a draw pile of 2 cards, so we could get divination right back into our hand, if we're lucky. Love this. Okay. Love it. Flatland mine. I would say put a mine here, then put a mine right here. And then have this guy come here and put a mine right there, and you have a nice little triangle and one of them on a hill. Love to see this. Really love to see this. And why I love this so much is because you'll notice there aren't really a lot of hills in this region, so Axum is wasting no time in getting iron up and running. But here's the only rub about this. Here's the trick, is that with 322 gold, that's probably the one situation where you don't need to do the flatland crap that I talk about all the time, because, I mean, we have 322 gold per turn. We're going to be fine on our economy. And also your Axum, you can start slavery if you want. You already would be getting 12 and 12, so that covers your upkeep, and your economy covers purchasing. But still, kudos to you, don't hate this. All right, out in the wilderness. The Numidians are our friends because we married into them. So that'll be unfortunate. If we declare war on the Numidians, our wife will get imprisoned. Well, that's fine. We can farm them. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. That's fine. We can farm them for 3 units. That's another nice thing about grabbing military drill early. That'll help boost our training output, which will allow us to upgrade more tribes as Carthage. You can adopt paganism. Oh, it looks like we named ourselves Aristotle. I don't think that's a regular name. Cool. Become affable. Wow, an affable builder would be quite nice. Or Delver could be decent too. I'll be curious what he picks here. Yep, marrying into the Numidians is going to reduce the cost of these tribals. So let's take a peek here. Well, I can't select on it now. But yeah, no, they're all cheaper. And I mean, we're making 660 gold per turn. So I mean, this map is going to absolutely be swarming with Carthaginian mercenaries. It's going to be pretty disgusting, in fact. Which is another reason why I want ironworking. Because you want ironworking or you want phalanx, right? But by getting ironworking... Oh, we are getting ironworking. Great. Right? Are we? No, that was Carthage. My bad. Is you could be building warriors now that you could then upgrade to spears. You still pay... You effectively pay double the cost, but whatever. Gets you the units quicker. And spears... Champion spears would make very good work. Quick work of even 6 strength Numidian units. So I'm really, really hoping Sabertooth figures out that advantage. Really don't want to see too much more delay here. All right, we're getting navigation. Okay. I mean, again, I understand it's orders, but that's gonna put spears like at least 25 turns away, give or take. I really don't like that. I really don't like that at all. Okay, well, let's have a look. And the Carthage territory, we have a new settler coming up. We have a Shrine of Tanit. That's nice. Going to get some income off that. It's the next adjacent to 2 resources. We're finally done with our... Why are we counseling? That's interesting. Oh, probably because we have a citizen coming up next turn. That's fine. Okay. I would just take the... Oh, wait, we can't because we're trying to grow. Never mind. All right, got it. Got it. Yep, that makes sense. Interesting grabs here. Honestly, with our income, I would just go straight for compo. And then that will get me my full barracks and range comp set up very early. I can afford the stone. I can afford the wood. I can afford garrisons. I mean, I guess trying to do that. And also, why am I yawning so much, man? Sorry, guys. That will... Trying to do that and conjure up a massive tribal army would be a bit different. We don't see any nomads moving back to get upgraded, though. Hopefully he's aware of that feature, because that's like the best part of the Merc army. He's going to run into a situation, though. Like, being able to purchase all these tribes is one thing, but he's also going to want to expand. He only has 2 sites left before he has to go all the way to the Thracians. So he's going to have to declare war on these guys at some point. Or unless he could try to get a tribal invite. Yep, he's doing tribal peace with the Numidians. Okay. Influence this guy, and then you could try to get yourself a tribal alliance. All right, I dig it. There's a decent chance of that happening, I think. All right, it looks like we're going to get our 4th city as Axum before Carthage does. We have a stonecutter coming in for Carthage. We have the pyramids. Whoa, that is fantastic. I didn't do a wonder check. I'll do that now. But first things first, love the pyramids on Axum. They already have insane law tempo. They haven't even adopted freedom yet. This is great. Let this finish up. So they have... I mean, this is just gross. The pyramids on Axum is just gross. So good for them. In 10 turns, we'll have navigation unlocked too. And so, yeah, in that time frame, we will then be able to adopt slavery, freedom, freedom or slavery, and then serfdom. And yeah, we'll be well on our way to 4 laws, and well on our way to 7 thereafter. That's cool. And let's do a wonder check. So we have the Yazakalaya also being started by Carthage. I like this grab on them because they're already going to get Zoroastrianism. Should be queued up pretty shortly. For them if they don't have it already. Oh, they're going for a stonecutter first rather than getting a second acolyte. But, I mean, there's still 1 acolyte up on their opponent who doesn't even have divination yet. Ooh, whoa. Something tells me our friend got the free Byreme event. Very, very nice. We'll be very curious to see what Sabertooth makes of this. Good for him. Very cool. Alright, so nice things shaping up in Axum. Really cool to see. Really cool. Been a while since I saw that event. And where did we start the Yaz? Had to be in the capital. Oh, it's right here. All right, so a wonder for each player. That's cool. All right, just trying to adjust my chair. What do we have for a luxury here? We have tea. We got the tea event, and we can take peace. All right, we're at peace. We just need to influence this guy. We got Pathfinder. Wow, affable, intelligent Pathfinder builder. Doesn't get much better than that. Crazy. Our players have not met yet. We have still just intelligent. Yeah, Byreme doesn't look like it will be too much use. Maybe if Axum manages to secure this site, there is a one-tile pass. If he secures this, settles this, you could put a Byreme right here. But in terms of early pressure, yeah, not really much you're going to be able to do that. You could try to circumnavigate like a scout. Maybe not the best thing to spend your resources on, but it could be interesting. Also could give yourself an opportunity to get it heavily promoted. So you could end up with like a level 5 ship. We're 7 turns away from navigation. You could give yourself a level 5 ship before any combat breaks out, now that you have this head start. So there's a couple of ways I think you could leverage that, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be a major game-changing event. Not like the Mediterranean duel, or the Median duel, rather, where it can become quite a game changer. And yes, they could be doing simultaneous until contact. I think Sabertooth or Mongrel, one of the players, or I don't remember who it was. The player Anarchos ended up in a game with somebody. I think it was Anarchos versus Becht, where they had to restart the game because of turnstile shifting shenanigans kind of messing up the tempo of a very early game attack. So I think some players are a little trepidatious around turnstile shifts and when they occur. But yeah, sure, they could be doing simultaneous. We're up north with Carthage, but still no real clearing. It would be curious if Carthage just kind of like takes this and attacks the Thracians and just, I don't know, expands deep. Takes the Red Sea, takes the northern pass. And then it could be quite some time before Axum is even aware that Carthage is up there, if they just go straight for that. That could be funny. And then once Carthage settles and contacts the Numidian raids will start not Carthage, the Numidian raids will start targeting Axum. Another settler being built, a worker. So full on development mode. So we're turn 18. How many military units have we built? With both players. 0 for Carthage, but that's fine. Carthage doing Carthage things. But 2 for Sabertooth. And this is the thing I worry about, is, Carthage is far enough away, but he already has 7 units. At least 6 of which, I believe, can all be upgraded to 6 strength units. So that's just terrifying to deal with. Mongrel doesn't look like he's posturing for a rush, though. So that's good news for Sabertooth, who seems like he benefits from having a little bit of extra time. Yes, and of course, conversation about turnstile shifting can be awkward. I think the biggest thing to point out is that you need to pay attention to whose turn it is. And what I mean by that is who's the host and who goes first. And the reason for that is one of the biggest hiccups that you can bump into with the turnstile shift is, since simultaneous is happening, both players can take their turns at the same time, right? But let's say we switch over to turn 20 and the host is Sabertooth Axum, and on turn 20 Carthage starts moving around, and while that's happening, I as Sabertooth am typing, hey, let's switch to tight turnstile, right? And then, Mongrel says, sure, that sounds good. What happens is I swap to tight as Mongrel. I start moving military units, and sorry, as Sabertooth, I start moving military units, and suddenly I'm attacking you or whatever. And then when I end my turn, since I changed the turn style after you had taken some moves, whether with military or not, technically speaking, functionally speaking, whether you spent all of your orders, half your orders, moved half of your units, some of your units, whatever it was, you basically are in that portion of your turn. So basically, to make a long story short, I've had the turn style swap over, had the first player launch an entire attack against me and have it get to my turn, and I've had 0 orders and I couldn't move anything because technically speaking, I actually took my turn before they turned. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of think, even though it's like, you're showing your hand too early, whatever turn you're thinking about attacking someone, it's still a bit of a heads up, but like you should really be changing the turn style before the attack takes place. The turn before, not the turn you're about to do it, but the turn before you're actually going to attack. Otherwise, if you like I said, on turn 20, if you go into turn 20 and then you start communicating to your opponent, your opponent could be halfway through their turn before you change the turn style. And that's probably the biggest issue with changing the turn style in the middle of the fight, in the middle of the game itself, is that it can create an awkward situation for someone who's trying to take an alpha strike or come in with a tactician and hit someone, where you essentially need to tell somebody, give somebody a 1-turn heads up. Otherwise, it could just mess up both of your turns. And that doesn't feel good for anybody. In my opinion, it's fine. I think it's just the cost of doing business to keep the game going smoothly. So I don't mind. And I've even been on the receiving end where I've lost my turn and I just say, whatever, keep going. But it can create awkward situations where somebody gets to move twice. Or, like I said, creates an awkward situation where the person who wants to attack you literally has to essentially announce that their attack is coming the turn before. So it's a little awkward on either side, but it's manageable if you know what's happening. But the issue is a lot of these players, a handful of these players are new to the game, so they don't understand quite exactly what's happening. And we've had a couple of hiccups around that lately. Not lately, but a couple of hiccups. Overwhelmingly, things have gone fine in the tournament, but we've had 1 or 2 hiccups because of the turnstile shifting. All right, we've rushed out our shopkeeper. I don't hate that. Looks like we spent civics to do it. Don't hate that, especially now that we have the pyramids. That's going to reduce the cost of our laws. So yeah, that makes it good. I really like that. It's worth it. On Elder Shopkeeper, again, making some comparison right now. Here we are. Centralization would be 3.6 laws. Freedom would be an extra 20% growth, which in here would be exactly 4 growth. So this one Elder is the equivalent of 2 laws in this city. So it's well worth even the civics cost. Some people feel a little yucky about civic rushing it. But look, it gets him right back to building another settler. He can get right back to business. I love this. This is something I do all the time. Well, maybe not all the time. Sometimes you need the civics. But again, just to highlight, with the pyramids coming online, now you can be more liberal with your civics expenditure. So I think both of these happening in the Aksumite Empire are really great to see. Really like to see this grab on Sabertooth. That's good. That's good. Headed back over to Carthage for a second. See what's going on here. We've cleared this northern site. We've scouted across the peninsula, so no eyes from Axum up on the north yet. So this could be a very, very, very cool development with Carthage getting a whole presence in this ocean, building a couple ships. We're getting labor force now. We have aristocracy. Yeah, I dig grabbing labor force here. Although husbandry would be nice. There's lots of horses around. We could get more orders, but I mean, serfdom is also more orders. And we're putting in some work with our extra scouts. Have we discovered this? Oh, this is always the most annoying thing. When there's a city site that's just out of the fog that you haven't busted, and you basically completely miss it, right? Because what's going to happen is this is going to get piled up with barbarians, which isn't the worst thing. They don't raid, but it's going to be annoying, when he notices it 10 or 12 turns later because one of these guys steps outside of the fog and he has to come back and clear that. Or you could just ignore it, I guess. One thing I like to do on this map style is I like to take my scouts and I scout along the coast specifically. And the reason why I do that is because we'll see that this city is not connected, right? And yet if this scout came down here and cleared, fog busted all this, it would be connected. So that's something I do. And then same principle applies up here. We'll see that this site is not connected, right? Because of this fog here. I clear along the coast, all along the coast, because even if you fog bust this, right? This city, this city, this city will all connect to the capital because it's all along the coast, it's all along rivers. So I very, very much prioritize coastal scouting when I am on a continent map rather, and that is actually one of the other minor benefits here of this ship. You could basically do that with just the boat rather than spending a scout to do it. Also, that the value of exploration would allow you to get around these pesky mountain rangers. So you could just clear this out. I like to, once I get exploration, so if I do Babylon on a coastal map, for example, I'll adopt exploration first, and I'll just send a scout into the ocean, and I'll just circumnavigate the continent, because it helps for connected status. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to point out. We've had a couple of schemer on schemer matches. Schemer and builders and scholars seem to be popular picks for opening archetypes. Turn 20 is the time frame where if you were a schemer, you would already have this entire map uncovered. So this is what it looks like to try to scout the map when your builder is doing builder things. You're building a worker first in every city. It's coming out in a couple of turns. You're starting to spend all these worker turns, getting your economy online, stuff like that. And you're trying to clear, and this is what your map looks like. And then if we go over to Carthage, it's something similar, a little bit more progress over here. But still, if we were schemers, if either one of these guys were schemers, especially Carthage, because they have 2 scouts, turn 21, this entire map could be uncovered by now. So that's an advantage that schemers have. But of course, you make trades, right? Getting a worker in 3 or 4 turns in all of your cities is certainly an amazing benefit for the builder. And there are also other amazing benefits. In fact, actually, we have a builder. Why aren't we stacking this? This should be finished by now. And this would get us an order per turn. So, we just finished a worker, so I would like to see some stacking on this next turn. Both of these guys could finish this out soon. Also, thanks for joining me in the chat. I see that there's over 10 of you here now live with us. Appreciate you spending your time on the weekend here, watching another game of the Old World Tournament. I always love when a new game starts. Like, the best part of a game is like the first 30 turns and then the end. And of course, there's interesting stuff that happens in between. But the climactic finale. Oh, nice. We're making really good progress clearing here. Yeah, this whole center is going to go to Carthage. That's going to be super interesting to see. Do we have a settler coming up? We do. 1 in 4 turns. Nice. Yeah, no stacking on this one either. Interesting. I guess we're in no rush to get the Yaz out, because that only works once you have a state religion. Still, I love this wonder. Such an underrated wonder. All right, let's pop back over to Axum and keep an eye on this pyramid, see if we double stack. Building another scout. I love this. Love this. I recently played a game with Sabertooth, and I trolled him with the number of scouts that I had. Because I built something like 6 scouts on the map, and I kept sending them towards his free ballista that he had, and baited him into killing my scouts rather than actually moving the thing towards me to kill me early. I don't know that it actually had a significant impact in the game, but it was still funny to see. I literally just let him kill like 3 scouts in a row. but I had another 3 or 4 lying around, so that's fun. That was funny. No stacking. Okay. I guess we're in no rush, right? Still 2 turns on navigation, so I suppose we're in no rush. Although we could know. We could have that finished up in time. We'll see what he does. Clearing this camp, though. Which is nice. Making progress towards the center of the map. Have we met the Danes? We have not met the Danes. Back to Carthage. Still have that T that has gone unassigned. We're getting, what are we getting over here? Barracks. Like to see that. Would like to see barracks everywhere. With this amount of gold, I would like to. I would not be surprised if we see more wonder purchases. What else do we have? Right. So we have the Yaz, the Jirwan, Hanging Gardens. Ziggurat. Ziggurat's good. Jebel Barkal will be something to watch out for the Carthaginians as they get their religion online. Mausoleum is a great grab. Museum is a great grab. Colossus is a great grab. Colossus and the Yaz would be an amazing synergy on this map. Let's not forget that the Yaz will boost your civic output in all of your cities by 20%, and the Colossus will give you 2 civics. Nope. 2 civics for all cities that are connected. So you're basically going to get an extra 4 civics per city if you combo those 2 together, which is just really nice, especially when you're dealing with something like Statesman. So 20% on top of this. Well, you put 2 on the top of this would be 15, and then another 20%. That'd be like, what, another 3? So you'd be close to 18 civics before you have any specialist or like no marble or nothing. You just have 20 civics per turn, thereabouts. Really, really nice combo. Yeah, no, Jebel with an early religion is fantastic. We are getting our acolytes, so we will clearly secure Zoroastrianism. I believe that Axum does not have divination yet. No husbandry either, so no eyeballing a religion just yet for the Axumites. This is a decent enough map where I think you could make a divine rule and polytheism play as the Axumites. Just go full pagan. Run it down that way. They get the military training, so that's an extra 2 training for every city. And then you could do a fire shrine here, a fire shrine here, a fire shrine here, and a fire shrine here, and then maybe even one over here. So you could get a lot of extra training in all of your cities. I definitely don't mind pagan Axum. And with all this coastal territory, you could even increase your income further if you wanted to. But generally, when I'm going to do a pagan spam, I only pick 1 or 2 shrines to spam, and I cut out the rest. Shrines I like to spam are the military one, the science one, the order one, the civic one, and if I'm feeling like lumber mills are actually going to come into play, then the fire one. Everyone else I kind of let slide. And it's just really simple to just unlock monasticism, dip into polytheism, take every single city, spend 4 turns building a shrine in every city. Just pick one, right? If you're Greece, pick the civic shrine or the science shrine. It doesn't have to be both, although I do like to pick both. But just pick one, build it, and then immediately swap into monotheism. And then once divine rule comes up, that's it. Immediately swap into monotheism if you already have a state religion. But if you don't, then you wait for divine rule. But if you're Axum or cleric nation, you'll already have divine rule. So you can do that combo quite nicely. Where are we at? We have workers. Nice. Getting a miner here. In addition to the barracks that was already coming online. So this would be a decent military city. This already has training output similar to a champ city. So that's quite nice. We've cleared this camp. Still no upgrades. We're sending this guy back. He'll probably start getting upgraded, which is nice. Still purchasing. Tribals. God, how many mercenaries does that make it? 10. 10 mercs on Carthage. Crazy. And I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in the scouting here from Sabertooth. This is the trap, I think, that the builder falls into. You get so many workers so quickly, it encourages greedy playstyles, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. You know, obviously there's strengths that come with it, but this is a very common pitfall of a builder opening, is that you just start gobbling up all your orders, and of course you want to clear camps, right? So you're moving your military, and then what one thing do you end up cutting out last? Your scout. So your scouting ends up inevitably taking a hit if you're a worker, if you're a builder, unless you're actively attempting to avoid that from happening by, you know, not moving your workers. Anything else interesting happened on this turn? No, we're getting another settler, though, which is nice. Yeah, and we've scouted further on. There's more iron up here, which is also nice, too. 2 iron up here. All right, back to Axum for now. Ooh, nice. Just 100 civics and 30 gold for no reason. Great. Just because we're buddies. We're getting divination now. All right, so that's nice to see. I really, really hope we grab Phalanx next. As soon as Phalanx comes up next, I really want the Axumites to grab it after divination. You want to make sure the spears hit the map sooner rather than later, I think. If only as a deterrent. I mean, we have a scout here, but if we started seeing 6 strength Carthaginian units coming over these hills, which is totally in the realm of possibility, coming around turn 30, it's turn 24 now, you would be not a happy camper, especially with all this open terrain, if you don't already have spears coming up. Of course, a move like that would be risky for Carthage and very order intensive. We only have 14 orders. So a move like that could cost you the game if it backfires and you don't succeed. We are upgrading here. We're adding a general, which is nice. Bringing back another skirmisher to upgrade, I suspect. And we're 2 turns from navigation. Both players will have navigation at roughly the same time. Honestly, and I really think this Pyramids grab is super clutch for the Axumites because they're dealing with the civic output of Carthage. So eyeballing this and prioritizing this ASAP, fantastic move for Sabertooth, because you're really going to need that extra civics when you're dealing against Carthage. All right, Carthage has identified another tribe, another target. And we can adopt Zoroastrianism. We have founded it. And it did land in the statesman's seat. That's the exact spot you would love to see it. And if we adopt it now, this statesman's seat will get a 20% boost from the Yaz. So we want to see that synergy all come together and pay off. This is just so great. We already have 23 civics here. Fantastic. 2019, so that will be another 4 civics in the capital. And this quarry isn't even finished yet. This is going to be a civics powerhouse. Oh, man, I love the Yaz. Honestly, one of my favorite for early game wonders. The Pyramids is the obviously good one. But I think the Yaz is potentially one of the stronger early game wonders. Its only hiccup is that it requires religion to be good. But once you get religion, I think it's quite good. And in classic thematic fashion, it synergizes amazingly with my favorite faction, which is the Hittites. You get Judaism, you get the Yaz, and you put 20% civics in every city, and since they already start with 2 extra civics, making the baseline civics of all of their cities 10 civics, the Yaz for the Hittites effectively is 2 civics at least in every single city, which is just awesome. And, of course, hyper-thematic, because for those of you who don't know, the Yazilikaya is a Hittite monument or temple. Healing up some units, building barracks here. Nice to see. Another idle errant granary, really being mindful of boosting some growth. I'm not 100% sure that that's worth it for the food. I don't mind it in certain locations, but... I'm sorry, because of the wood upkeep. But, I mean, it is what it is, I suppose. And no builders. We could finish this next turn, but no builder stacking. And the reason why I think you want to finish this next turn is because this would allow you to adopt slavery, which gives you an extra 5 orders, and you would get it an entire turn sooner. So he's basically throwing away 5 orders here by not taking one of these workers and stacking it right now. Interesting to see. All right, more upgrades happening. So we have a 4 strength unit and a 4 strength unit. Another settler coming out. Do we have a place to settle? Yeah, we have up here. We have all these places. That would be a bit of a hike. Fortunately, we do have traders. I'd like to see a nice long road network coming up here. That could be helpful. Let's take a look at some stats while we're here. Orders favor Carthage. Science, strong lead for Carthage. About 20 science lead for a while now. Moving back, upgrading more units, or getting them ready to get upgraded anyway. Let's look at overall wealth. Wealth favors Carthage. Population favors Carthage. Specialists favors Carthage. 5 specialists in Carthage compared to Sabertooth 1. 5 workers for Sabertooth compared to MongrelEyes 3. Axum has built 3 military units, and Carthage has built 1. And while there are 10 mercs on the map, Axum has cleared a lot more units, but that's because he doesn't have to hire the units. 4 camps cleared for Carthage, 2 laws for Carthage, but that's going to swing in Sabertooth's favor soon. 6 techs for Carthage to 4. Both have 13 improvements, and both are about to have 1 wonder. And yeah, we're looking at turn 25. And Carthage already has a military score of 400. And this is one of the reasons why I worry about early military output. I've said before that it's entirely possible for players to get around 300 military score by turn 30. And that is doubly true for Carthage. So if you're facing Carthage, you can't sit around with no units for the first half of the game. Puts you in a very, very dangerous spot. We have some events for Carthage. You can get an extra citizen. Ooh, you can get a free scout and some orders. I like this option. You can get more opinion. I'll be curious what education we choose. We'll take a look on that. Our heir is Numidian, so he will be able to be a general of our tribal units, which is nice. And honestly, I don't understand this event because playing with fire, because the little I know about it, you pretty much always should select demand their loyalty, and I've never had demand their loyalty backfire, and yet if I choose one of those other options, bad shit happens, so it is awkward to me. It's kind of like the die event where you just always pick the one option. All right. Woo, we purchased a second wonder. We have the Hanging Gardens up and running in Panorbis. So that's 2 wonders for MongrelEyes. Interestingly enough, before they started, double victory is not on. But before they started, Mongrel asked Sabertooth if he wanted to turn on double victory. And now that he's doing a bit of wonder spam, I'm not surprised. Can we force march this? No, we can't. Orders are really, really tight in Axum. 8 orders per turn, spending 3. Compared to Carthage's 17 orders per turn and spending 3. Wild. Oh, we had a death. We have a new person on the throne. That sucks. And they're a commander. But a death does mean a stell. Where did we put it? We must have gotten one, right? Or did we abdicate? Oh. We abdicated. But I don't think we did that on purpose, did we? No. Okay, so we got an event that forced an abdication. Fine. That's fine. So now they're the commander on the throne instead of a builder. I think that's awful. I'd be curious. I wish I caught what event that was, because might have been worth considering not letting the commander take the throne. But we have amazing opinion in Axum, so that's nice. But now our order situation sucks. I'm being told that the demanding loyalty can definitely backfire. It's a forced gamble. Okay, well, I don't think I've ever demanded loyalty and have it backfire. That might be worth a second look. I think it always works out in my favor when I demand loyalty. And then there it is. The Yaz. Beautiful, beautiful. Fun thing about the Hittites is they had this monument, and basically it's a polytheistic monument that has there's evidence to suggest that the Hittites, in addition to having their own pantheon, also respected and basically were very surprisingly religiously tolerant for a culture back then. So and the Yaz is evidence of the fact that they had different types of gods from other different local pagan style religions all up in the reliefs. So really cool wonder. And of course, it looks neat. Really happy to have that included in the game. It was one of my suggestions. I don't know if that was heeded when I suggested it at the time, but I did bring it up back in the day when I first started playing, and then it ended up in Wonders into Dynasties, so I think that's really cool. Because I'm a big Hittite fan. I didn't know that the Hittites existed. I found out about them, I don't know, 20 years ago. It was like a civilization I had never heard about, and then I started reading about them. And I thought it was fascinating, because we hear all about the Greeks and the Romans and the Persians and all that, but unless you're an actual history buff, other nations like the Hittites or the Axumites aren't talked about all that much. And I tend to have a soft spot for the empires that history tends to overlook. And here it is, the glorious pyramids. We can now adopt 2 laws, bringing us right up to 3. And our players have still not met, by the way, for shame. Bad scouting. Yes, and the Yaz is super duper old. That's true, too. It's kind of, the story of the Hittites is kind of fascinating. It's like, the first archaeological evidence of the Hittites wasn't discovered until like something like 1910 or something crazy like that. If I might be way off on that, but it was relatively late, and all of a sudden we just realized, oh wait, there was a whole massive empire here that was a big deal, and it rivaled the Egyptians and the Assyrians and all these other great things, and one of the largest chariot battles in history was fought by them, and the first peace treaty that we have in recorded history was done by them, and all of that was discovered in like the last 100 years, give or take. So they're a really fascinating empire. Sorry, going on a bit of a history tangent. Back to the game. We are getting our mint coin in a duelist. Those are civics output. I tend to like to prefer once my civics is really ramped up to try and get that, or I try to rush it out. Do we have any judges? No. Mint coin is a weird thing. I, I I also tend to basically I tend not to think about the mint coin until I'm already at strong culture, and then I'll try to do what I can to go from coin 1 all the way to coin 3. Not always. Sometimes I build it early, especially again if I have a judge and I can rush it out. Maybe I'll rush the 2 coins out. But generally it's not on a hot item on my build queue until I can get more legitimacy out of it. And of course, if you're culture rushing, then the final coin is awesome. Yeah. Awesome solver. Great. Cool. You and that's why we're friends. Uh, the hit solver's saying that the Yaz was his suggestion for the Hittites. So kudos to you, sir. A man of class after all. All right, we're finally making work down here with these barbarian sites. We have a 5 strength unit, 4 strength unit, and a 3 strength unit, and of course our slinger. And how are we doing in the north? No further progress in the north, but really almost completely scouting the map at this point. Getting close. Getting close. We'll soon make contact. And let's keep in mind, this entire northern region, we do have the commander here, but the bulk of this northern region is just unexplored territory for the Axumites. So it's really cool to see some Carthaginian presence up here. Getting an apprentice officer next. Great. Making fine progress. We got our garrison up and running. Like to see that. And we're going to go right into another barracks right now. There it is. That's funny. Yep. And what else would be a good grab? I already looked at this a bunch. Jebel. Yep. We are 4 turns away from being able to secure the Jebel. How much would the Jebel cost? Let's take a peek. 6,000, give or take. All right, that's a ways away, but we could afford it. We're making 600 gold per turn, thereabouts. Oh, we can already do the... I always forget that this is a developing wonder. Always. For some reason in my mind, I have it seared into my brain that the Jebel Barkle is strong. And honestly, probably because it should be a strong wonder. And to be perfectly frank, it's really good. So maybe that's why I think it's strong. So this is a really great comparison. We have 2 traders' capitals. Let's be clear here before I point this out that Carthage is doing absolutely fine on science. But I just want to point out that he's probably about to spend 6 turns building a shopkeeper now on turn 28, where the Axumite, having opted to rush this elder shopkeeper, maybe 5 or 6 turns ago, gets this extra income growth in science for the entire duration, the entire difference of game time, because he opted to make that rushing. And I just wanted to point that out because that, in my opinion, is one of the benefits of just using even civics, if you have them, to rush out a shopkeeper, just because it's really, really strong to get it early. And in the case of Axum, I think it's great that they did that because they are behind in science, especially now, unfortunately. So every little bit helps even more for them. So I think that was a good grab. And we did get serfdom, and we opted for slavery. Okay. I think we're pretty decently expanded here. So I guess we don't need... And also we have a builder. If you have a builder... Oh, no, we lost our builder. Well, we already had a builder, so we have plenty of workers. I think freedom is... I always talk about getting freedom first for workers and settlers, but it is admittedly a little bit less attractive when you already have a builder and are getting cheap workers. You can opt... I think the slavery is better grab for the builder. Getting a barracks here, barracks there, and a training shrine. All right, so we're going full development into training here. 2 barracks and a training shrine. So that'll scoot our champion city up in training quite nicely. Hey, Old Hound, thanks for saying hello and goodbye. And appreciate you tuning in. And please check out the videos every now and then, pop on and see how things are going. All right, we're just about to be settled. How are we on cities? We have 4 cities for the Carthaginians and 5 cities for the Axumites. So that's one of the things you're going to run into. Again, I still kind of like this clearing, but since the settler is so long to travel, it is going to delay you that settle time and that development time. So we'll see if that pays off long term. I can't imagine that Carthage is getting put too far behind because of their science boost here, right? They have a nice, strong science. They have good military because Carthage always has good military. But, yeah. It will be interesting to see how the Penta. We're getting monasticism now, which is nice. That'll be the 4th law for Carthage. And of course, I think honestly, with already having a religion, and Carthage shrines kind of suck. They're all right, you know, but I don't think any of them are particularly spam worthy. Maybe if you're doing a mythology play. I would like to see some manual spread of Zoroastrianism. Get this guy spread to the high-growth city, the high-growth cap. Yeah. And then churn out a bunch of... We haven't adopted a state religion yet, which is also annoying. But okay, whatever. Yeah, and then get your religion spread around. Get your monotheism online. And then, honestly, now that you have the Yaz, maybe it would be cool to see a legalism play. And that's another way to conceptualize the Yaz, by the way. Legalism on monasteries gives you 2 civics per monastery. So if the Yaz gives you 2, at least, right? At least 2 civics per city that has your state religion, the Yaz itself is effectively like grabbing legalism without grabbing legalism. But then if you grab legalism on top of it, you just have crazy civic boosts in your empire, especially if you have clerics on it. But I usually play it with the Hittites, which don't have clerics, but I mean, they get the extra 2 civics anyway, so. All right, I'll shut up about that wonder now. I just love it so much. All right, where are we at next? Have some wonders coming on. Both of these agendas suck, but we can get the 2 legitimacy, so that's nice. Oh, I actually was curious about this. I was curious if capture 2 foreign cities was still in PvP, and it is. Okay. Oh, okay, we're getting a trapper, which I find interesting. Don't really like this. Why would you get a trapper over an officer? I guess we need orders? No, we don't. Interesting. I'd like to see an officer here. The officer would be even quicker, too, by the way. I always found it interesting that it's like a little bit more difficult to make rural specialists like this, and I've never quite understood why. So if Solver or Fluffy would like to indulge me the reasoning as to that, I'm not complaining about it. I just don't understand it. Why improved resources are cost more to build. I get why they cost more to build than regular resources. That part actually does make sense to me. I don't get why they cost more than an urban. Like, urbans aren't more expensive either. So if urbans were also more expensive than rural, again, not suggesting that they should be, there would be some like congruence that makes sense there, but I don't quite understand why this stuff is more expensive. But not something I think it should be changed. All right, we have another garrison, which is nice. I'd like to see some barracks here. Or maybe we just get another wonder. How much would the Zig be? A couple more turns and we could buy the Zig, which would be nice. Really, really big difference in orders now. Well, I mean, I guess, serfdom. See, for those of you who don't understand why people talk about getting serfdom early, look at these jumps. These both are serfdom jumps. This is, I mean, serfdom is a game changer of law. All right. Can I get affable? Oh, we can get eloquent in the statesman seat. That'll just be so gross. Don't we already have like 30 civics? 24 already? 24. We really need to adopt Zoroastrianism to get more. Yeah, then we'd be at about 30 civics per turn. 2-turn decrees if we want. That's more orders. Get treasury 1 turn. The projects, people knock building projects, but really, as long as you can build them in a quick amount of time, they usually are worth it and pay for themselves. Treasury is probably the least valuable one, but Forum and Archive are both great. And again, for me, it's about the actual build time itself, not the what you're putting, not what you're actually paying. But if you can do a Forum 1 in 1 turn or 2 turns, that's definitely worth it. And then just keep scaling up. Especially because if you get all the way up to Forum 4, it's something like 18 civics in a city that has a palace. Or 16. It's crazy. It's a crazy amount of civics. It's a surprisingly crazy amount of civics. All right, we're fully scouted. They still have not met. Good God. All right, so we have 3 champ seats in Axum, 2 cleric seats, and a trader seat. Okay, I dig that layout. We have 1 traders, 2 states, rider, and we didn't settle this turn, which I find fascinating. But this could be riders, this could be riders. This being riders would probably make the most sense. Do we have husbandry yet? No. Plenty of goats and shit to make use of husbandry. Okay. Yeah, still getting that trapper. Don't like it. Fish are fine, I guess, because it's traders. Although, marble would probably be more valuable. Long term. Let's see, are connected. Everything's connected in Axum. That's nice, except for here, but we're building a road, which I like to see. This scout has literally not moved in like the last 20 turns. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Just tossing away landmark legitimacy. I'm curious now. I want to look at this. Events. 16 from named a landmark. 2 from discovered a landmark. So 18 legitimacy from exploration. Interestingly enough, we have no immediate war declarations on tribe events, so we didn't declare war on the Danes either. But okay, so 18 from exploration. Let's take a peek over at Carthage, and we have 11. So that's an extra 7 legitimacy to Carthage for exploration, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but it really does add up. The game, it's going pretty well. Yeah, thanks for joining. If you're joining us live, love that you're here. It's turn 30. Players are playing at a decent enough pace. We've been going for about an hour and a half now. Let's take a look at the tech tree. Axumites have navigation, mill drill, divination, administration. So pretty much this is what we're looking at right now. They're getting aristocracy. That will be their 4th law. Or yep, because they have clerics. And they're at 6 cities. They got the pyramids, which is nice. And they did get stuck with an abdication, so they started with an intelligent builder, but now are on a commander who's kind of mediocre, really. And on the Carthaginian side, we have a horde of tribal recruited units. Some nice frontier north expansion here across this isolated kind of isthmus connecting the top half of the map, which Carthage does not know about. Not Carthage. Axum does not know about. Sabertooth is not aware that this is up here yet. Only 4 cities for Carthage, so he is behind on expanding because he's sending his... that's why he didn't settle. He sent his other settle deep, so he's going to settle this one, and then he's going to settle this one. But he has 2 cities coming on the way, but they're delayed because they're expanded. He's at peace with all the Numidians, so he kind of has cut himself out of expanding in this territory. So that'll be curious to keep an eye on. For his tech tree, we're looking at mill drill, aristocracy, navigation. So pretty much same general location in the tech tree, although he does have a science lead. And of course, if you're joining us after the fact on YouTube, hello. Thanks for being here. Thanks for clicking through. Please leave a comment. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, or hop on Discord and say hello to everybody playing in the tournament. Oh, they finally met. They met. Now they've met. Great. Cool. 4 turns left on the Elder Shopkeeper, so again, benefit there to Axum for the fact that they rushed that out. Oh, and we also, for the Carthaginians, we have the Yaz being built. Oh, sorry, already built, and then the Hanging Gardens coming down afterwards. Interesting, Hanging Gardens and Freedom. Probably swap out of this. Let's take a look at the politics. Politics in Carthage is fine. Stable opinion. Nice, strong statesman opinion. And in the Axumite Empire, really strong champ's opinions, which, I mean, that's what you want, right? We have a commander who is a general, so we're both happy with that. We need to start we're putting our... Where's the first shrine? Oh, nice. We're creating our holy city of the pagan faith in the championship. I don't hate that. A little bit of extra civics to help you build officers. Oh, cool. Good job, Sabertooth. He's realized the error of his ways and decided he doesn't want a trapper. He wants an officer. That's the correct thing to do. Huh. Please don't think that you're connected by doing this. You still need... I mean, I'm assuming he's going to road directly across, but that's just funny to see. Imagine if he thought that that did it. You'd think that that does it, but it doesn't. You need one more road. What's our heir? Our heir is 12 years old, philosophy student in Axum. Or she might not be a philosophy student unless we pay up, which we can. We can afford this. And then if we hop into... We have a bitter heir who looks like he's no longer in an education tree. Probably got grumpy and dropped out of school. All right, there's only one order left in Axum. I'm going to hop over to Carthage, and then I'm just going to get up real quick. Probably keep an eye on here because I suspect we'll see a city settling soon. And I'm just going to get myself more water. See what we got. Interesting, we went riders up here. Okay. I mean, I guess because the iron nearby, but... with this eventual coastal connection, I probably would have settled for somebody else. The statesman, maybe? I think people hyperfixate on the compounding yield effect. They think, oh, this is a training city, gets me training. Although I guess maybe if you want, you could import. Did we import already? We did. No, we didn't. Did we? No, we didn't. Okay. I don't know why I went to a different city. I could have just clicked on this and figured it out. All right, so never mind. We could. I forgot about that. We could import horses here, and then yes, 2 iron makes sense. All right, we have a first raid. Scythians headed towards Axum. No raids for Carthage because we are friendly with all the tribes in the region. The next furthest tribe that could raid would be the Danes. They don't look like they're ready for raids yet. All right, I'm going to hop back over to Carthage, Axum, and forgive me 1 second. I just need to step up. Sorry about that. All right. So, our players are building up quite nicely. We have 5 cities to Carthage, soon to be 6. 6 for Axum. It doesn't look like Carthage was going for any level of, you know, I'm going to go rush my opponent type of playstyle here. So, just kind of consolidating. Playing an even, well-paced game. I suspect if we are going to have a major conflict on this match, in this particular game, we're probably about 20 turns away from it, give or take. Be curious to see if Axum... What is this? Oh, that confused the heck out of me. There's a pin here for a barracks, so I was like, I almost thought he could build a 3rd barracks. I thought that was a recommended tile. I'll be curious to see if he starts bringing out unique units soon. He's going to need a little bit more culture here, which is a good reason to put the Holy City. Does that add extra culture? Oh, wait. Is this not the Holy City? Yes, it is. Oh, no. The Holy City doesn't add extra culture, just adds extra civics. Well, even so. If you could get some elephants, you'd have a luxury to send there, too, to help the culture along even further. We're 12 turns away from being able to get a stronghold in the city. This is a reason why, one thing I love to do, so there's olives right here, right? One thing I love to do is I love to put a champ seat in a spot like this, and I build the shrine, you know, the war shrine, on top of the olives. That gives you 50 culture and gets you much, much, much closer to your developing threshold early on. So if you're trying to do a quick early law push, you could also do that with something like salt. If there was salt around and anything else around that would do it. No, not really. I guess the incense, but they're out of range. Anyway, if you're trying to do a quick 4-law push, keep an eye out for grove resources or anything that gives culture. You just bulldoze it with a shrine, and that will get you to developing in your champ seat real quickly. So, for example, you could bulldoze this. In fact, if you had something like Polis and you just bulldoze both of it, you immediately, in the 8 turns it would take you to build 2 hamlets, you would be developing in culture in this city. So, very, very neat trick to rely on sometimes. Can't force march this, so we'll be settling that next turn. Now, I'll really be curious if Mongrel is just content to see if the Numidians will ever offer him an alliance. Just sit here behind a shield wall of tribal mercenaries that he can hire indefinitely. They will become expensive, though, right? Oh, no, I mean, with the good relations, it's still only 600 gold to hire a merc. Not too bad at all. They're cheaper if they like you. One thing I'd like to see from Carthage, we have a decent order payout here. We don't have a lot to do with any of our... is this coming to us? Yeah. We don't really have much to do with our orders right now, so... Now's the time to go on a chopping spree. Take this one work and start clear chopping everything. Just chop this entire forest down. No reason not to. Literally no reason not to. In fact, I'll even make everybody a bet right now. Barring the idea that Mongrel might come in here on his own and chop all of these forests, right? So basically, my bet is going to be, unless Mongrel chops these down because he decides to go on a chopping spree at some point, I will bet any amount of money that all of these forests will still be here with no lumber mills and no urban on them by the end of this game. The majority of this wood. Which is why you should just chop it all down. Like, nothing wrong with, like, all of this, great. Save this for lumber mills. Fantastic. Save the river for lumber mills. This, chop everything down. There's like 1,000 wood right here. Give or take. Maybe less than that. Maybe more like 600, but still. I love clear chopping shit. And once you have a big orders advantage, which Carthage does, and they're kind of like struggling, not struggling, but looking for places to spend their orders, dude, just chop it. You can get like 600, you could get like 60, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You can get 1,200, sorry, not 1,200, 120 wood per turn. Who doesn't want that? All right, we can get centralization. This will be our fourth law. And we'll help our science. The science situation is really shitty for Sabertooth here. That's really unfortunate. I don't think he's building enough in the way of specialists. Like, same situation, honestly. He doesn't need a fisher. He either needs a stonecutter or he needs an acolyte, right? Stonecutter would be better for civics and stuff, which is going to help get you more specialists, right? We have really good growth in the city already, so we don't need to worry too much about growth. And then the acolyte would give us more science. So, also, I'd like to see some barracks up in here too for more specialists. Same reason. Doesn't have to be a military city. It still gives you science. Happy with that clear chop, though, by the way, since I was just talking about that. What does he have over here? Oh, this is probably where he's thinking about putting a fire shrine. That'd be my guess. All right, so Magnus tells me there's about 800 wood in this forest. Thanks, Magnus. But yeah, isn't that insane? Think about that. Think about, especially because think about the amount of food income. Think about the time frame it takes you to get forestry, build lumber mills, and then stockpile 800 food across a game of Old World. So like, just conceptualize that in your mind. And then think about how with an order boost, if you literally just have nothing to do with 6, or what is it? It would be 1, 2, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so I know it sounds crazy. I know you don't always have 9 orders per turn to burn, right? But you have like 9 orders every couple of turns, right? Maybe. Especially if you're Carthage. Look at Carthage's order economy. 25 orders per turn. I'll be curious what their turn... And there's like not really much left for them to be doing right now in terms of maybe clearing this to expand here, right? So anyway, point being is you could just get 800 wood so fast. And then you just have it, right? You can sell it if you need it, or if you want to do a mass archer upgrade, or if you want to build your unique unit. Though I believe the elephant takes wood. Yeah, something to think about. Monasteries will take wood if you decide. We're getting monasticism online now. Really, really, really hoping for a manual spread here. I worry that he's going to get monasticism and build a monastery, which does make sense, but I think the better play here would be to manually spread this first, then build another one to worry about building your monasteries, and then spam disciples from the capital, because you can do like 2-turn disciples here, right? For a while, 2 to 3 turns, and then manually spread your religion across all your empire, and also adopt theologies if you want. You could do both. But instead, he's probably going to hang this guy back and build a monastery with it. It is nice, though. So now that we have the Yaz on fire, yes, man, look at this. Holy City, Statesman, Marble Stonecutter, Quarry, right? With an eloquent governor. That's it. That's not a lot. Like, it is a nice thing, right? But, like, the only thing that came out of random generation here was the Stonecutter, right? There happened to be a Marble Stonecutter here. But, I guess, eloquent and the religion landing here, I suppose. But anyway, whatever. Still, 35 civics per turn. We basically have a 50 civics boost because of a 50% civics boost. It's basically a palace. It's 45%. Basically a palace from the Yaz and this nice governor, who's also inspiring and eloquent. So that's even more civics. Yeah, great. Amazing. And we're building another wonder. Oh, okay, so this I don't hate. I do this all the time, too. So never mind. I actually don't hate this. I still probably would have manually spread it, but I don't hate this. Getting the religious wonder right away is actually not a bad grab, because you're going to get a second disciple anyway. So, all right, I don't hate that. Never mind. Kudos to you, Mongrel. Never mind. We have the Ziggurat. Okay. I like this game. We have some time with our players building wonders. 4 weak wonders in the game. No, 5 weak wonders. Okay, well, 2 went to Axum and 2 went to Carthage. We have the pyramids and the Ziggurat and the Hanging Gardens versus the Yaz. I kind of like the Hanging Gardens and the Yaz as a combo because it's 20% growth everywhere and 20% civics everywhere. That's, like, pretty decent. That's going to help with your specialist output. But, of course, the pyramids and the Ziggurat are also very good wonders to have. And I think the pyramids especially is the one you're going to want. Honestly, and the Ziggurat. This is, like, the perfect combo you would want when dealing against Carthage, because these are both good civic wonders. So having both in combo is quite nice. So next up, we have to eyeball what's going to happen with the Apadana and the Jebel, or the Mausoleum, Colossus, and Museum. I'd really like to see someone grab the Colossus. I don't know why it's not getting grabbed. Even on something like Coastal Rain Basin. And the reason for that is because Coastal Rain Basin is actually a map that you could probably build it in very easily with little harass. And are we just, like, forgetting the fact... First of all, 2 civics per city is awesome, but even ignoring that, is everybody forgetting that this gives you a free level for all your military units? All of your military units? It's not just in this city, it's all of your military units. This is basically Holy War. Like, why is no one building this wonder? I never see this getting built yet. It's a really good wonder. I would love to see a doctrine grab. We have a decent science boost. Go straight to doctrine. Please do that, Mongrel. That would be so That would tickle my fancy a great deal. What are we at in terms of laws? That would be your fifth law. We're getting husbandry. Fine, whatever. But really, doctrine would be a great grab. I mean, I guess you don't need it with the Jebel on the map because I get you'll get the free temples. But I want orthodoxy. We have good order rate, and then once you if you do this, if you grab aristocracy, monasticism, and doctrine, 7 laws is guaranteed for you. Because that's 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7. So doctrine is what I like to call a 7th law. The other examples of 7th law are architecture and citizenship, which is why I always say that clerics basically get their 7th law for free, because you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's already your 7th. So basically, these 2, these 3 are an easy 5, monasticism's the easy 6, and so you need to start looking for your 7th law, which the only other options, accessible options, are doctrine, architecture, or citizenship, or maybe manor if you went up central. But I feel like a central push and a 7 law push are kind of like different directions tech-wise. So yeah, if you're grabbing monasticism early, which turn 34 is pretty early, and your science is good, and our science is good, 63 on turn 34 is solid. I think an early doctrine grab. Yeah, no, I'm fairly certain the Colossus is not just for one city. I think it's every city that you have generates a free promotion. Let me look that. I'll be happy to be corrected, but yeah, because it would say in this city, right? I believe it would say in this city. Let's think of a different wonder. What is a different wonder that works? Oh, interesting. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Because this Circus Maximus says all cities, so maybe we're looking for the all city tag. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that. Either way. Well, someone from Mohawk can confirm for me. Wait, let's actually look at the shrine that does the level up here. Maybe I am wrong about that. Shrines. Where is one of the ones that do the level? Am I just not grabbing one? Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll never know. I'll clarify it on the Discord chat. I'll do a test after this game, and I'll clarify it. I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We're getting iron working, which is nice to see. Still no phalanx. Comp bow is up. That could be worth it too. I really like comp bow on Axum because, I mean, disarm, their unique unit synergizes with range units so well. So it's always nice to get a couple of Demit warriors and then mass upgrade some slingers into archers and go beat stuff up, because the Demit walks in, takes a swipe at whatever you're trying to focus fire, and then all of your slingers and archers will do 20% more attack. It basically turns all of your... I just love the way the Demit works. It's hard to use. I just love how it buffs your whole army. All right, we're still doing some clearing up north, which is nice to see. Also, welcome in the chat. Now there are more than 20 of you in the chat with me now, so... or viewing. Really grateful that you're here. Popping in, taking a peek at the game. This northern territory has been secured. We're still building workers up here, which is nice. Going to get some development online, and we're going to respond to this raid as Carthage. I'll be curious if he decides to try and clear this. Where is the Carthage Scout? So the Carthage Scout is finally outside of the Axumite border, so we do have some eyes on what's happening down here. We have 2 scouts, in fact, taking a peek at these borders. Both empires have the same city count, but Axum has 1 site cleared, and they're working on another one with a settler on the way. And there are no sites. There's 1 clear site and no other sites being cleared for the Carthage. And basically, he's going to have to decide whether he wants to go to war with these guys. We finished the Hanging Gardens, which is nice to see. We have upgrade, and we can become grumpy. So Hanging Gardens has arrived on the map. I really like the wonders in this game. I feel like there's a pretty solid selection, too. I really enjoyed the Wonders and Dynasties DLC, because I think the Jurwan was a really cool introduction. The Yaz was a cool introduction. Heliopolis was interesting, although the Heliopolis is busted. Whoever designed that needs, like, a smack upside the head. All right, let's take a look at some stats. Specialist still favors Carthage. Population leading Carthage as well. Wealth, although Axum just built a wonder, so I guess this doesn't count. Axum's wealth was probably similar before it started the Ziggurat. Food shortage in... let's do a look at the economies here. So, 650 gold for Carthage compared to 427 gold for the Axumites. Both nations have awful food economy. 2 food coming in per turn for Carthage, 3.5 for the Axumites. 23 iron for Carthage, 30 for the Axumites. 32 stone for Carthage, 42 for the Axumites, and Axum has a deficit of 5 wood per turn, and kind of as a result of these random granaries, which again I'm fine with a random granary in theory, but even here, right? You haven't built a granary here. This is actually a really fun trick. So we're gonna build a granary in the capital for some reason, right? Fine, whatever. Put it here though, because then your granary will boost this farm across the border, which would allow you to put a second granary. So even though it's a weak culture city, you'd still be boosting this resource by 2 granaries. And then when the border expands, you could even add another granary from the capital around this wheat. So that's something I like to do. And of course, you have these rivers nearby, which is nice too. So yeah, not necessarily... Ooh, a granary here would be nice, to be honest. But I kind of don't understand the... I mean, I guess maybe he's thinking he wants to make sure he gets his officers online quicker. Not the worst, I guess. I don't know that it's worth the word, but I've never really done it. I'll build one randomly occasionally. But it really depends on what I'm doing. I want to see this guy stand here for the rest of the game harvesting to try and get that damn elephant event. That would be funny. I wonder if we dealt with an off-map raid with this. I didn't keep track of that. Nice. Building a barracks. We're getting this... So it's really interesting to see the rate with which people expand and like which direction they choose in, because we're just getting this iron online now and building a barracks, right? So 12 training in the city compared to the Carthage site, which has 22 training because it's already has its iron, it already has its ore mine, it already has a barracks and an officer, you know. And that's literally just because of whatever order someone scouted. You know, what direction someone scouted in and what order they settled their cities. It's really cool to see the... Oh, nice. We're getting phalanx now. Really great. Glad to see that. And finally scouting out in this direction as well. We are now at war with Numidians, and we should be able to tell as Carthage that MongrelEyes is at peace and friendly with them. So that's a nice grab. Phalanx is a nice grab. Analyzing that situation, you must assume that your Carthage opponent has a bunch of Numidians in their corner in that situation. Let's see. Are any of these 6 strength yet? No, he's taking his time upgrading them. He's upgraded multiple ones to different levels. He has a level 4. He has a level 5. He's a level 5. Sometimes I think it's better to just upgrade one all the way to 6 and then focus on another one and upgrade that one all the way to 6 and just do it that way. Get one unit as strong as it can be. So most of the map has now been uncovered by Carthage. I'll be curious if any player becomes aware of this site down here. Could be a very key strategic point, but not, of course, unless anyone discovers it. And, yep, Axumite still has the same map viewpoint. So really poor scouting from Sabertooth in this match. He is finally moving forward with his scout after a while, though, which is nice. Nice to see. Nice. Okay, cool. Getting more barracks complex. This is going to help with the orders. I don't really like the positioning of this. I'm not normally a stickler for adjacencies, but I mean, when you're creating your city like this, you could have done barracks here, and then garrison there. And I like to try to get the diamond at least. I care less about the perfect honeycomb, but I do prefer getting the garrison, 2 barracks, stronghold diamond, or you can do garrison, stronghold, and then barracks. That's another way to do it. But the diamond is worth it. It's the thing of, I don't care where the citadel goes, basically. That's the one I don't give a shit about. What's this? Oh, right, we're building our wonder. See? So, all right, so this is an example, right? We have 3 workers left. Okay, we're building a road. Actually, never mind. Roading is good. Roading's good. We have the orders for that. In fact, with this being tradered, I would probably have these guys both road towards each other. And then send, once this guy comes up, I'd have this guy road this way. Have this guy road this way. Once they connect, have both workers come back to this city to improve it. And then if you can get a road network or get maybe adopt colonies for a little bit, buy all of these tiles around this area, give himself some nice, sweet coastal movement across the Red Sea. That'd be dope. And then Axum could do something similar down here by the Black Sea, buy these tiles. Although I guess getting around this would be tricky. Could do it with a scout, I think. Ooh, we have a captured lion. What does that mean? Oh, cool. Awesome. Free courtier. Always grab that. Although I guess you could get rid of your wisdom deficit. That could be worth it too. Heckler Highland Scar Hero, though. That's pretty decent. And he went for the courtier. Good. I would have done the same thing. I love grabbing courtiers. I want to see a garrison getting built here. I think one thing that I think is being misplayed here is we're building a barracks here, right? Which obviously makes sense, right? And we built our barracks here, yes. And we're building a barracks here. But honestly, I think you should be starting with garrisons. I really think you should be starting with garrisons. Because if you start with your garrisons and you finish your garrisons first, what does that do? That's going to increase the order economy. A garrison in each one of these cities already being done by now, which, I mean, this one would be finishing up. This one would be a couple turns away. And then one of these would be done, obviously, right? That's going to give you an extra 1.5 orders per turn. So, and there's no garrison in the capital. There's no garrison in Massawa. There's no garrison in Sabai. So basically, Axum right now is at minimum leaving 1, 2, 3 orders per turn on the table by not building garrisons. And I think that can be easy to overlook. And that's without barracks adjacencies, by the way. With the barracks next to them, that would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Basically another order per turn if every city also had a barracks. So they have about 15 to 20 more minutes of play left for this round. They will go into the second half, a nice solid build-up, a couple of hours of play. But yeah, that can often be overlooked by players thinking of how they're going to develop their empire, because Old World is the type of... Axum's building the ziggurat, by the way. Old World is the type of game where a little adds up to a lot. So 0.5 orders doesn't seem too much, but if you put 0.5 orders in every single city, well, now you're getting 3 orders per turn. So I think Axum's having a missed opportunity here. If we walk over to Carthage, though, we'll see a garrison being built here. We'll see without a barracks, right? Okay, so it's fine if you decided you didn't want a barracks, right? But there's still a garrison in Carthago. There is not a garrison here, but there is a garrison here. So comparatively, 3 out of the 4 core cities have garrisons in them, while 0 of any of the cities in Axum have a garrison. So, tiny little things like that add up. Oh, we're getting the Jerwan Aqueduct. So we have both players just gobbling up all the wonders. 5 weak wonders in the game. 2 went to Axum. 3 are going to Carthago. And this is honestly pretty solid Jerwan spot. You're going to get 5 lush tiles. One of which, whoa, this is interesting. This one is adjacent to a volcano, but this one is not saying it's adjacent to a volcano, when it is clearly adjacent to a volcano. Weird. Wait, what? I'm confused. Maybe it still counts. Maybe it still counts. Never mind. No, it still counts. I got that wrong. Ignore me. I'm just being an idiot. We're getting a free camel launcher! Yes! Not sure we need to pass out comp bow or steel for it, but I love it. That's going to come in clutch in all this arid, so why not? Camel archers are basically like 8 strength units against mounted units in arid. They're nuts. All right, yeah, so crazy developments. Oh, we still have the builder on the throne, and we went to double stack. Nice, we double stacked this. Really like that. Okay, then we could then never mind. Then we can, I forgot about the stacking. So you could do the monastery first, stack first, and then spread. Ooh, we could get a 6-turn inquiry. That's not too bad. Wait a minute, actually. Whoa. This is going all wrong. I think this... Look at this. This is... We're getting 4.8 science per turn in this city from this governor. I think we should put him here and get 8.6, and then have our... We would lose some because of the governor, so it would probably drop down to like 28 civics per turn, give or take, 26. But use our 25 civics per turn in this seat to churn out inquiries. Why not? crazy, man. Really nice empire Carthage has going online. And he really is governing. Like, he's settling a city and is using 100 the civics that he gets for settling the city to immediately govern. Get the robust, right? And this is what I'm talking about. This is why I think the new governing mechanic and the Carthage civic boost is just so stupid in terms of synergy, because he automatically gets an extra 2 civics and 1 order per turn in the city if he wants it. Or look at any of the other options. Even for this freshly found city, he could get 2.5 intelligence or 5.6 growth. You could get all this stuff, right? So it's very, very easy for Carthage to hyper boost their empire, because they can literally govern every single city immediately. Doesn't mean you always want to, but one of the reasons why you don't want to in a regular situation is because you don't have the civics for it. You can't afford to make that investment. But Carthage 100% can, because they don't give a shit about civics. And early on, if you're talking about getting an extra couple science per turn, or you're talking about shaving off a turn or 2 off of your workers, or let's say you have a warlike character, suddenly you're getting, a 6-turn slinger from a trader city rather than a 8-turn slinger. So basically a new military city, like all sorts of valuable options for governing right away. What are we getting? We're getting a barracks. Same thing. This should be a garrison. I don't mind that he's building a garrison. I like that he's building a barracks everywhere. Finally, we're building a garrison here. But this should be a garrison. This should be a garrison. This should be a garrison. We're a little bit behind on garrisons. 5 turns in phalanx, so that's nice. But yeah, because we never... Well, we did get iron working. We should be building some warriors. We don't have warriors, which is unfortunate. Another thing I've been noticing more and more is that players guard their sites a lot. I don't quite understand. You have a settler coming in 3 turns. This wouldn't respawn for 10 turns, so just send these guys north and clear this camp, or send these guys out here and clear this camp. I don't understand the compulsion to actually guard sites in the duel format when it's not like an NPC is going to come by and take the site from you. Worst case scenario, a player decides to be a dick and put a scout on there. In which case, sure, you have to send a unit back to deal with that. Okay, a couple fishers coming online. Both, we're all set up here in this city, so I'd love to see some units getting built. We also have the Jerwan being built here. Still no chopping sprees. 16 orders to spend. Really, really should be deforesting. Oh, those should be... And you'd be done with this in like 5 to 10 turns. And you just would have more than enough wood for the first half of the game. I really like this map, though. This Black Sea situation is really cool. It's interesting that both the players kind of stayed away from each other. So what disappoints, what I feel bad about is that I feel like Sabertooth... Oh, we have a new judge on the throne, which is great. Ruthless, unpopular, that sucks. Oh, man, he better clear that soon. Is he holding court? Yes, he is. Great. I feel like Sabertooth is not shy about leaning into a greedy strategy. And ironically, now that he's safe from Mongrel's not playing aggressive in this game at all. In some ways, I feel like Sabertooth's not being greedy enough, ironically enough. But I could be wrong about that. Not enough flatland quarries, by the way. Nice, going straight for it. So this is what I like. I like that we're building officers even in our state seat because we have the order, we have the civics to do it. So this is really, really great to see. And this goes back to what I was talking about. It's like you don't need to do this, you know, barracks, garrison, garrison situation, or the other way around, garrison, barracks, barracks situation, only in your military cities. You can turn any family into a military city. You don't like literally when it comes to military cities, you're talking about two things: two extra base training and generally a promotion. Right. So the promotion's nice, but that's not a reason not to put a strong military core in other cities as well. So that's nice to see. From Mongrel, his empire is shaping up quite nicely. He has a lot of specialists spread around. And a good portion of them are officers, so his military... Oh, honestly, Sabertooth could face a similar situation that he ended up in against Aaron, where eventually the military output of the Carthaginian Empire is just too much for him to overcome because they spent the first half of the game just building barracks and officers. But in fairness, Sabertooth is attempting to do the same thing. You know, he's got a barracks here and there, and one coming on here. So we'll be finished with this officer shortly, which is nice. Oh, he put the Stella in here. He put a Stella in there. Wait a minute, we've had 2 deaths. Oh no, the first king is still alive. Interesting, okay. How old is he? He's severely ill. So he could be dead soon, too. Which could get us another Stell. It doesn't look like he got a good cognomen, though. So let's take a peek. Pioneer, yeah, so that'll be another 10% Stell. We have no Statesman, which is a bummer. My favorite place to put a Stell is in the, not the Statesman, patron seat. Hey, cool, awesome. Very nice. So we actually are stepping off of this. That's good to see. That's good to see. Cool. Yeah, so your options will be 10% science boost here, which really won't do much, or I guess 10% gold here would make the most sense since we already have so much gold resources. Of course, you always get the 2 civics. It is a flat, sorry, 1 civic, but this is why I like this for the patron seat, because the boost itself, right? The boost itself in the patron's family is civics, and then the yield that the Stell itself gives you is also civics. So it's like kind of like a double dipping effect once you put the Stell in a patron seat, which is just a really great combo. All right, we just got the free camel launcher, so we have a nice assortment of some early game techs that we can grab. Polis could be good to get us to forestry. Rhetoric could be good for more law tempo. We have polytheism or monotheism we can adopt now. I'd really just skip straight for monotheism. Or, I mean, I guess you could do polytheism just to put a shrine everywhere in the eventual, once you eventually get to citizenship. So you could just do that now. We don't have enough stone for it, though. We could pay. One thing I would like to see more of, actually, is less stockpiling from our players. Both players are sitting on over 1,000 gold. One has 2,000, one has 1,000, right? If each player is constantly buying resources every turn, that's going to raise the price for the next player. So technically, the best value you'll ever get on resources is buying them on the current turn that you can afford them, basically. Because if the turn passes to your opponent and then they buy resources, well, then that's going to raise the price on your next turn. So we could see some weird economic warfare happening, but we're not really seeing that. It's tricky to plan. That's not something I do. I do know some players that do that. I don't normally do that, but it is a thing you can do. Let's take a look at this camel archer. How much would this do? Look at that. Brutal. That's in scrub. That's in scrub. And we're still going to do 12 damage. Gross. Anybody else out in the open? That's out in the open, but it is, even though we're a tile away. 14 damage. Gross. Cool. What about to the Axumites? 11. I once camel rushed somebody to death. That was before the buff. But I was Egypt. Who were they playing against? Honestly, don't remember who I was playing against. Assyria. I was playing against Assyria. And I think... What happened? I think I saged into Polis, and I was grumpy about it. I think I settled sages on my first turn. I was grumpy about saging into Polis. But there happened to be 2 camels in my starting city. And I decided to be cheeky and make something of it. And it ended up working out. I was a schemer. And I also discovered the seer Diphobe on the very first turn, who I married. So I had a double schemer marriage. So my science rate was also insane. So I saged into Polis. And decided just to go straight for land consolidation and crap out a bunch of camel archers and go across the map. And I think I won that in like 40 turns. It was kind of funny. Phalanx in 3 turns. Settler in 1. Settler in 3. We do have the 1 site cleared. So we're going to need to do a little bit more clearing. And hopefully we'll see more garrisons coming online for the Axumites. I'm curious. I want to do a breakdown of the specialists here. Should I wait 1 turn? I'll wait 1 turn or 2 turns. Let's take a peek at the map. So this is blowing my mind. So this is still Axum's entire worldview, right? This is the map they're looking at. Axum has no earthly idea that there are 2 cities up here. He doesn't even know what's up here. He sees water. For all he knows, this is the ocean. This is the Indian Ocean for all he knows. He has no idea. Right? I'm pretty sure he hasn't even discovered the Red Sea yet. No, he hasn't even discovered the Red Sea. For all he knows, the continent goes like this, up into a peninsula, and then comes down and goes across, and then goes like this, up into a peninsula, like a weird W-looking shape, for all he knows. So Axum is blind to this. He's blind to these forces. What would be the most satisfyingly insane thing ever? Would if Carthage staged all right here, all right up here, then while both empires were like doing like some kind of build-up up here, Carthage did like a feint attack, gets Axum into a fight in this region somewhere, like somewhere around this region, and then just sends a freaking horde of units down this valley. That would be the coolest thing. I have to imagine Axum would become aware of this shit at some point. But honestly, even if Axum clears up here, Axum could assume that this is a complete mountain barrier. Really, really interesting. I've been really enjoying the tournament maps. We've had a lot of lucky, interesting games because of the map generation. Where is our next settler coming? Oh, we're getting the Jerwan coming out. We're stacking for the Jerwan. That's nice to see. And we're also getting our road coming up, which is also nice to see. Spamming decrees. I feel like we don't need this. Not yet. I really would like to see, if we're going to spam a project, I really would like to swap this scholar here and do science. Although I guess with 71 science per turn, we might probably not even need the inquiries either. What else could we do? I mean, I guess that's it, really. So whatever. I guess more orders. I don't think that's 4 farm. It's... Oh, that's Volcano. Yeah, never mind. Only 4 farm. Only 4 farm. You realize the maximum number of tiles that you could get for a Jerwan is 5, right? You're like, oh man, he didn't get the maximum amount he could get. No, 4 is fine. I think where you want to get where you'd give pause on a Jerwan is like a 3-tile Jerwan or a 2-tile Jerwan. But I think 4 is perfectly fine, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you're right. This tile doesn't count right here. So it'll be this one, this one, this one. I got this wrong too. I thought this was 5, but this one is the volcano tile. It's a weird volcano shape. It confused me too. But it's just 4. But even still, it's a lush freshwater tile. It's still gonna be a bomb, Jirwan. Carthage map vision, yeah. They know what's up. They know what's up. They have eyes. They have a scout down here already. They have a scout sitting out here. And the Axumite scout is right here. So a little bit of map blindness from... and he's still working on his first leader. He has the strong cognomen. That's nice. Let's see how close he is. He might even get noble. Entirely possible he'll get noble. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Well, I'm having a UI problem here. I was trying to swap factions and I just kept clicking the wrong shit. Yeah, so let's take a look at this order disparity, because now that we're spamming decrees in Carthage too. Oh man, how many are spending 7 on improvement construction? I have to hop back to Carthage and see what they're doing. So 18 orders per turn with 7 on... Oh, wow. 18 orders per turn in Carthage with 7 on improvement construction compared to Carthage, which are... I might have said... The first thing that I said was Axum. Sorry, I'm all over the place with the names today. But in Axum... Sorry, in Carthage... I just did it again. Holy shit. We have 26 orders per turn with 9. We have 9 going to improvements. So... that's 35 orders per turn compared to 25. There's a 10-point order lead in Carthage, and we're spamming decrees too. That's going to be tricky for Sabertooth to deal with, I think, long term. And there's a science lead. Decrees do not show on the order graph. One thing I think would be nice to be able to see in this, see how I'm trying to tooltip over this? It would be nice to be able to see it. The graph doesn't need to track it, but if I had a quicker way of accessing this breakdown right here, but maybe like right here for both players, that would be nice, just so I can actually get a sense of where the worker turns, what the worker turns are actually doing. But these totals are fascinating. 609 orders in the total compared to 486, and this is what you're going to gain over time through things like getting the extra garrison. And one thing I don't think less experienced players are aware of, let me see if I can break this down. Okay, so this order rate is 28.5, right? This 0.5 order isn't lost. What this means is on one turn you're going to get 28 orders, and then on the next turn, you're going to get 29 orders because this 0.5 is banked. So you're basically going to go 28, 29, 28, 29, 28, 29 indefinitely until your order rate changes, right? But so that's another value about grabbing things like an extra 2 legitimacy or the 6 legitimacy from tribal camps, or, you know, building an extra garrison, is that this you very, very, very rarely lose a yield in this game. It's one of Soren Johnson, the designer's, biggest pet peeve. And also I think it's well, I don't know about his personally, but I think in terms of design philosophy for players tracking stuff, it just It's another reason why you never lose science overflow. It's another reason why you never really lose production overflow. I mean, if you generate something, you're going to get that something for the most part. There are a few exceptions in the game. Usually they're pretty niche. But yeah, so if you have an order rate like this, this 0.6 is going to come into play. Yeah, or the other way to look at it in chat saying 0.1 order is an extra order every 10 turns. But really, you're always going to have these decibels where basically you just get an extra order every other turn. Do we clear this camp? Do we have a settler coming up? We have... I think we do. No. I want to look at the barbarians here. We don't have any 6 strength units yet. So we got to 5. And that's as hard as we got. Yes, a little bit higher legitimacy from exploration. So we can even do a full breakdown here. So we have a better cognomen. We have 2 ambitions finished. And then our event legitimacy, about 20 from exploration. And the rest from events, and only -2 from being married and peace with tribes. If we head on over to Axum and look at their legit situation, which is quite a bit low, we have 1 ambition finished, but 2 legacies. So just think of that. These 2 ambitions being finished are equal 1 ambition because they fell down to legacy. So that's unfortunate. We do get the mint coin, which is nice. And we've had a couple of secession changes, which haven't been ideal. So we've had some decay. The highest cognomens we got was +40 and +30. So in total, this is +70, right? Compared to our opponent's current +60. And both of these cognomens have decayed at this point. So that's going to be the crisis you'll see if you start dealing with rapid secessions. And then if we look at the event legitimacy, oh, we had a manual abdication. So that's going to be another hit. So we're losing an order per turn, and definitely for the abdication. And for naming a landmark and exploration, we only have 13. So we're 7 legitimacy down from that. Although we did declare war on every tribe, where Carthage did not. I do not believe Carthage declared war on any of the tribes. So we're going to make up for that here a little bit. Monkey philosophy event. We are terrifying, I think. Yep, we are terrifying. So we're going to have to deal with becoming strict and getting a bitter child. Yeah. Riders adds up. Riders, statesmen. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8. No, wait, I'm doing that wrong. This is 2, 3, 4, 5. And then legit is probably like another 6. So that's your 10 order difference right there. 1 turn on phalanx. And then the other big deal is, well, in fact, since the game's ending, I guess I'll do, when did they say it was ending? And after turn 42. Yeah, it's after this turn. Okay. So I'll do a recap of where we're at. We're getting our officers online. We have finally built a garrison. We have barracks built in these cities. I'd like to see more garrisons coming online. Ooh, we can build the Colossus, which I'd like to see. So the big thing that we're going to run into issue is the order disparity and the science disparity. Carthage has had a science lead for the entire game. Since about turn 16, Carthage has been about 15 science ahead or more, and that has only grown further and further as the game has gone on longer. Military score, Carthage is obviously ahead because mercenary, they have like a dozen mercenaries on the map, and half of them are upgraded, so that makes sense. Nothing to see there. And of course, here at the legitimacy. Let's look at politics. Politics in Axum are fine in the champions location. Not too hot with our Agazi, the traders. Need to get this pagan faith spread around. Yes, and almost double the tonal science. Let's take a look at that. Total science invested in the tree, 1,600 for Carthage, 800 for Sabertooth. So, pretty much double there. Political situation in Carthage is going to be much better. The Zoros are super happy with us. I wonder why. Oh, they're just endeared, so that will go down once we finally die. Having our ruler be alive all this entire time has certainly helped out. And we can do some conversions. I think I'd like to see that. Get the Henodids converted to our religion. But yeah, really nice use of religion here. And we're getting a rancher. Oh, okay. We were trying to get the iron. That's fine. Chiron in one turn. Interesting. I don't think we need an acolyte here. I'd like to see more units. Even though we're Carthage, I'd like to see more units being built. Although, units out of here is fine. Getting comp bow now, that's another reason why getting slingers would be nice. If this were a slinger, this would be an archer soon. And still no chopping sprees, by the way. All the orders in the world. We should be seeing road spam, and we should be seeing chopping sprees. What do we have here? Monastery, monastery. Nice. Right next to a grove. Cool. That's cool to see. Do we have a theology yet? Really would like to see legalism. This is, I mean, it's turn 42. We're building monasteries. And we did spread. So honestly, look at this. One turn disciples. Oh, we would be manually spread so fast. And don't forget, with the Yas, that's an extra 20% civics everywhere. And yeah. Ugh! Why are we building Fisher? This is so annoying. You literally, every disciple is 20% civic boost and an order in each of your cities. Which would you rather have? A fish, some die in 4 turns? Or would you literally just 1 order, 2 order, 3 order, 4 order, 5 order? I don't think every disciple would come out in 1 turn. Although pretty damn close. They're making 52 growth per turn. Ah, okay. It's not about the specialist. Fish is fine. It's about the fact that this is literally an order per turn. Anyway, sorry. I'm raging, and chat is calling me out for it. So I think that's pretty much going to conclude our session. I think our players should be ending here. It's now turn 43. They were planning on ending after turn 42. The Axumites have finished the ziggurat. Did they get their fancy ziggurat event? Yes, they did. I wonder if this is guaranteed. I can never remember if it is or not. But here it is. It's just a nice little minor boost. 10% training in the champion seat, though. Can't go wrong with that. Combined with the Stell, that's an extra 20% champion stuff. Ooh, a really, really nice border boost that would look. That's a really solid border boost for the Axumites. Nice to see. So yeah, they basically get an extra free barracks in this city, which is nice. And all right, we just did our recap of stats, so I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you for being with us live. There's over 20 of you in the chat viewing us right now. This is 2.5 hours for 43 turns. Not too bad. And I suspect things will heat up in the next session pretty handily. We have Axum clearing this way. We have Carthage clearing this way. And I think Axum will be... I suspect once Axum settles this city, I think the reveal range... And then this gets settled, right? I think the settling of both of these cities will make Sabertooth acutely aware of the presence of the Carthaginian Empire in the north. So that'll be a nice point of conflict to see if boats end up in this water and what kind of pathways get made down here. I really like this single tile path of marshland along a river and by the mountains. Just cool opportunities. Some colony tile buying would be really clutch on the part of Carthage here. That could be really cool. But yeah, so thanks for watching and participating. And if you're watching this live after the fact on YouTube, please leave a comment, give me a like, give me a subscribe, hop on over to the Mohawk official YouTube channel and check out the playlist of all of the tournament matches that have been going on. There's well over 60 videos in that channel now. Lots of crazy games, awesome content, and hop on the Discord and say hello and comment on the games there and talk shop. Anyway, I'm Siontific. This has been the Old World Community Tournament. Take care.